Hello and welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Burbos. Round 3 is done and dusted, and we're heading into round 4 with absolute carnage, injuries galore. I'm joined here by the 2021 champion, Tim Moody, the coach of the Villi Army. How are you, Timmy?
Yeah, very good, man. I feel like I've just been waiting to hear you with a carnage opener, and it's come. Here we go.
Carnage, when the word carnage comes out, you know it's SuperCoach season, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, carnage is underestimating how this week is looking already. There is a lot of injuries.
Hit some worse than others.
Yeah. I guess the injuries list is so long, but at the same time, it's not that bad.
For some.
Poor
Wilfred Z seems like he loses about 5 players every week.
Oh, really?
2016th champion. Yeah, poor bloke.
Oh, God. How'd you go on the weekend?
Better than the last 2 weeks. It was really nervous to start because I was watching Cleary go around. Obviously, in that first game, he was on 90 at halftime. I was already pre-game thinking, geez, he's going to have a big one. This is going to be the one that I was, And then I thought it was going to be closer to 100. Thank goodness Kevy made some switches, put Katoni Staggs on the other side, and then Penrith started going down the left. So it saved me a bit there. But, yeah, had some trades go well. I brought in Val Holmes. He nailed it. Lomax, who I brought in the week before, had a big one. So couple of things going good, but had Lolo in my side still, who I'm probably going to hold on to another week. Talk about guilty pleasures. But yeah, look, my side's like killing it. Like we get ahead and I just play him for 20 minutes and I'm happy with it, just like the Cowboys. I'm happy to take a 10 from him. No, that's honestly, it's eating into me, but I'm hoping I can get away with it one more week.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the week where you might get away with it this week.
Yeah, well, he's gone like 20, 45, 20. He's due for 45, in minutes and points. So, yeah, let's hope that this is his up week.
Well, I scored 1,150. And if you're following our socials, the SC Experience on Instagram, you would have seen my reaction to my trades over the weekend. I haven't said it on the podcast. I've said it all over social media, but I sold Teddy to Turbo, and this trade in the past has absolutely haunted me like no other trade has. I thought this time was going to be different. I was really confident Turbo would go massive. Teddy pumped out a 145 before updates, then he downdated to 135, but Jesus, I was feeling shit on that Friday night.
Don't blame you, bro. I think this one was a massive case of FOMO, and I think you said that in the chat possibly as well, that you're just a bit worried about missing out on a big one from Turbo. But, yeah, the eye test of what Teddy had been putting out, bit of a weird one, but, you've made a few weird calls like this that have worked out for you in the past, and, you can't nail everything, so just keep backing your gut and don't let it hinder you. It's like you've dropped the ball this week, but you've got to be one of those players.
I've dropped the ball. I scored 1,150.
You still dropped the ball, mate. Like the big players, we expect more from you. You know what I mean?
You know what I would have scored if I didn't do that trade? I would have capped. I had Nathan Cleary as my captain. Would have got 121 from my captain, and I would have got the 135 from Teddy. So I would have scored above 1,200, and I would be ranked 292nd. I've looked at it. So I'm ranked 900 at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think I've started well, but this is what happens when you start well. You get a bit cocky that your decisions are always
everything's going for you.
Yeah, everything's going for you. So that's just what I felt was happening when I did that trade. Now I'm in an awkward position where Manly play Penrith and then the Warriors the week after, and I'm probably going to look to either go to Ponga or back to Teddy when Teddy's draw opens up. So, yeah, more trades than I really want to be using, but with all the carnage,
in a good position. It's a good trade-off. You'll take it. You know what I mean? If you use these, you'd boosted twice, and you were in my position, and it hadn't worked, then that'd suck.
Exactly. So starting hot, I'm very happy with. Ranked 900th. But who is doing much better than I am? The overall group leader of our SuperCoach Experience group, Jedi Council. His name is Peter, and he's ranked 89th. So shout out to you, mate. We'll keep an update on that every week. And we'll kick it off with the top 3 SuperCoach players of the week. Number 1, James Tedesco. He was a pod. He was a great option. Number 2, Valentine Holmes, 144 points. What a trade-in for yourself.
Yeah. Should have started with him, but to be fair, if I probably would have gone Marshu because I was tossing them up pre-season. So, but I'm happy with it. Like, I don't feel like my starting side was ideal, but I feel like I'm making the right adjustments on the move.
Playing eyes up.
Yeah, exactly.
And number 3 is Nathan Cleary, 121 points.
What a first half, eh? Like, he looks so good, man.
He was so good on the weekend. But carnage is here. Mitch Moses, foot fracture, 8 weeks. Nathan Cleary, hamstring, 4 weeks. Lindsay Collins, hamstring, 2 to 4 weeks. Scott Sorensen, knee injury, 4 weeks. Toby Rudolph, foot injury, 4 weeks. Dale Finucane, concussion 1 week. Tuapiki, concussion 1 week. Tino, ACL season. Ruben Cotter has been named, but ankle 1 to 2 weeks. Reynolds, 2 to 3 weeks. He's been named. Walsh, 6 weeks. Haas, 4 to 6 weeks. It's absolute carnage at the moment, and I guess once we go through team lists, we'll talk about who is the beneficiary of all these. But I think realistically, most of these options, I guess we'll talk on Cleary first. What's your initial thoughts from the Cleary injury?
It's ideal for me because I don't have him. Mm-hmm. So for non-owners, it's probably good because he's starting to look really good. And I think for non-owners, they were planning to pick him up after the bye for the Tigers match. After watching that first half of footy last week, I was thinking, I've got the wrong guy. You know, I've got one of the guns and I'd prefer to have... So I was going to sell Cleary to Nath. So it sort of made things a lot easier for me. For people that own him, it's a short-term... It's a weird one, hey? Like, I'm not in the situation, so it's hard for me to know authentically what I would do. I think the smart play is probably to hold the couple of weeks and bring him back. He might not come back to week 8. I think, in my mind, I think they'll rest him against the Tigers the week after the bye and play him the week after that. However,
it also...
my gut, so my mind says that's a good thing. But if I was in that situation, I'd probably get a little bit impatient and just be like, oh, I need points. I don't want to have that 900K. And I think I'd probably sell. But who to? Probably not a half, probably a centre wing. If that's available via duels in your side, that's what I'd do.
So, out of all the halfbacks, Cleary's averaging the most by far. The next best average is Luke Brooks, who is averaging 64 points. He is 26 on the overall amount of players. So, in my opinion, if you have the duels to allow to go to someone else, I would do it. I don't think halfback is the spot to do it. But that being said, like, it's such a high upside position at the same time. Like, maybe...
I think it is. But
maybe
depending on... A lot of these other guys are dependent on draws. And, I mean, it's in the position, usually it's Nathan, Nico, because, you know, that's a scenario we're in with not having Nathan available. I feel like it's not as high upside this year.
It's not, but I think maybe these first 2 or 3 rounds... just these other halfbacks haven't fired as well.
Moses last week had a blinder, scored nearly, I think, close to a ton. No goal kicking as well.
116.
Obviously not available, through injury. But I think some of these other halves will have games where they get a big ton, but then they're going to come way back more down to earth and get, you know, a 50, a 40. Whereas when you've got Nathan available...
Watch your hand, mate.
When you've got Nathan available... on his back, like worser games, it's a 70, or a real quiet game against like a Storm, it's a 50. So, yeah, I just think that these other guys won't be as slam dunk consistently. You will get 1 or 2 nice ones. But, yeah, if you can go to elsewhere positions, bring Hutcho up or one of the other halves.
That'd be the ideal world. I got to correct myself. I said Luke Brooks was 25th. He's actually 35th. So That's just how bad the position is going at the moment. But... I think in my eyes, there's 3 standout options. If you don't have Nico Hynes, I think it's a slam dunk. Go straight to him. You make money off that trade now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm holding this week. I don't want to boost for a 3rd week in a row. Cleary's 883, Hynes is 862. So I think if you don't have Hynes, go straight to Hynes.
Yeah, I think holding's a really smart move to me, especially if you're not sure which way to go. You don't want to go, all right, sweet, I'll go Brooks. He's going all right. He looks all right. He looks good. And you go Brooks. And then this week, say Jerome Hughes just looks on fire and, tons up with a massive score and you think, oh, his jaw's starting to look pretty good. Maybe I should have gone him. So holding back can allow you to sort of just not rush it and get it wrong. And you can just fix other problems this week. You might have some issues to deal with in the forward. They might be less exciting. Sorry about my hand.
Bro, you put your hand in.
Well, you've moved me closer to the mic this week because of our lovely aura. We've got these aura lights going on behind us.
We've got a bit of a halo going around the back of us, eh?
Yeah, it kind of feels like when you look at it that I've dropped acid, or maybe you at home have dropped acid, and it's just a really sort of visually nice experience. I'm feeling it. It's nice in here. So yeah, my gestures are a lot more animated today because of the lights.
You just feel good about yourself.
Yeah, I feel good about the room.
Yeah, it's a good room.
Great.
They're really upping their game every week. That at the plant. They weren't there when we first started.
Yeah. So, but back to the halfbacky issue. Yeah, I think holding a week, deal with other problems. There's so many problems we've got. And then you can make a good corner next week. But I think there are plenty centre wingers that are looking good that, as we've sort of identified, go to them if you can through that.
Well, I guess just before, we'll talk about that shortly, the centre wing replacements, I guess. But I'm holding off a week so I can go have a look at Sam Walker, break even to 95, plays Penrith this week so I can hold off. Don't want to boost, and I have other trades pending. And Jerome Hughes is someone that interests me. Plays the Broncos, who are under strength, and then plays Newcastle. Oh, Newcastle? I'm pretty sure. No, they play someone else the week after. So I'm very keen on either of them. I just want to wait a week and see. But, I'll wait a week, have a look. That's a week closer to when Cleary's going to come back. So, do I just hold out if I'm already waiting a week?
You make a good point.
It's a bit awkward because it's only a 2 or 3 week play. But if that 2 or 3 week play is going to create cash and get me the points I need, I'm really going to consider one of these guys. I'm not going to DCE because his draw is pretty bad over the next...
His break-even's about 150, so he's going to lose cash too, so that's a headache. So you don't want to be going to some of these guys that are going to lose cash when you need to then go back to Nath with that same trade.
Yeah, so if Sam Walker comes out, looks good this week, I'm hoping he scores like a 50, so he's not on everyone's radar. And then...
Drops a little bit of cash more for you.
Yeah, 30 would be ideal. Actually, I wouldn't mind a 30 because he's going to get them.
But then he's going to have that in his rolling average. He's going to lose a little bit of cash over the next week. You probably just want to get a 70 or something, I reckon.
I want him to... to be fair, the cash you're banking from going Cleary to Walker is just ridiculous anyway.
Yeah, but the cash that that he loses that week that he doesn't score this week...
You're right.
That you save by getting him that week, he's going to lose before you sell him. So
You're right.
Yeah, I like...
I'm selling him anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Now that you've said that, if you do hold a week... You're that 1 week closer to him coming back. I reckon now I've changed my mind. I think he's just a hold, Nathan.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that just because these other guys aren't options. Jerome Hughes, Broncos. Then he plays the Bulldogs, and then he plays the Roosters and the Rabbitohs. So if it is a 3 or 4 week play, the only issue with holding Cleary as well is the Sharks have the bye in round 6, which means no halfback.
Yeah. I mean, as a non-Nath owner myself, I'm pretty much in that situation as well. But there are some good VC loops that week. I've already looked forward to it. So you can already take advantage of that.
For sure. So the halfback, it's not a slam dunk area. But I think if you can make Jules happen, the centre wing is a great place to target this week. And I think we need to do an update on what sides we think are weak. We said this last week. We said, who do we say? Defensively, the Warriors are still good. The Sharks are looking good defensively. Penrith are obviously still Penrith. But we said the weaker sides still... We kind of didn't have a good grasp on things. But I think we can now look at the weaker sides. The Titans.
Yep.
They're looking pretty weak. The Rabbitohs, they're leaking points.
They are. However, like put an asterisk over them. Like there's a chance they can turn this around. They've definitely got the squad. If the attitude's just like if they've got worse problems than what we're imagining, it could be hard. But you can kind of see them just rallying. I know we said it probably last week too, and we tipped them to pick the Roosters. But
yeah.
I can also say the same for the Titans this week. I can
That's true. That's true.
I can imagine Desi rallying the boys together and saying, listen, Tino's out. If you've listened to the radio, if you've read the paper, everyone's riding us off. Everyone's, saying we're now at the bottom. We're getting the spoon. We're $3.50 to get the spoon. We've dropped from this price to that. What do you all think about? Is that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so I could see him turning up for this week at least. Hard, but yeah, they're going to struggle going forward. Yeah. The thing is too, I think we need to put in brackets some of these sides that you go, oh, they're a mad side, but they still leak points. Like the Cowboys, for example, they let 18 points into the Dragons, and I still think they're quite leaky in attack. They just got good defence. So I don't think you need to stress out too much when your team's playing clubs like that. Even like Manly to an extent as well.
Yeah, that like Moses scored 116. Yeah, Latrell 110 in round one.
Now, Sharkies were terrible last week. I think they sort that out a little bit from this week. They're very defensively minded, which did not show last week at all. But I think they're playing the Raiders this week. See, these two sides, they're very grindy and defence minded. So I think maybe you could pull back a little bit and think maybe they're not the games that they don't look as, especially the Raiders, because on paper you go, oh, they're a crap side, but they're shown that they're quite resilient.
Yeah, and I also think like we've seen with the Tigers, they came back this week and absolutely blitzed it. I think 2-game sample sizes are not enough, and 1-week sample sizes aren't enough. I think the teams that have played 3 games, I think we can get. It's a bit of a better example of how they're going to go. Like the Sharks, they might switch off for 1 game out of 3. Yeah. So this game might be that game for them. Like I'm happy to play someone who I'm thinking of selling against this team because this could happen to them. Whereas like Penrith, every week they're pretty good. So with someone like the Titans, they've only played 2 weeks, so I want to wait till the 3rd week that they play to see what the sample size is like, because you could really go all guns blazing on Dolphins players this week, like someone like the Hammer, or you could get in Jake Averillo or someone like that, because you're expecting big score from them this week. But we haven't had that 3rd week from the Titans to see if they're ever going to put up a fight throughout the year. Obviously, as the season goes on, we get more and more of a sample size.
Watch your hand, mate.
Sorry. Obviously, as the season goes on, we get more and more of a sample size. But from what I'm seeing, 3 weeks, we're getting 3 different teams from the same team most of the time. We're not getting the same team every week, if that makes sense.
No, I'm confused. But
So with the Dolphins, right? The Cowboys went over them round 1.
Yep.
The Dolphins came back 38-0 in round 2, and we thought, the Dragons are going to win this game against the Dolphins because the Dolphins were shit last week. But it was only their 2nd week, the Dolphins, so they had a chance to come back. If the Titans don't come back at all this week, then we can say more so that the Titans are a team that are probably going to struggle more often than not.
Yeah.
But if they come out and have a good performance this week, then that shifts our whole mentality on how the Titans are going. So, and like with Canberra, they've had 3 solid defensive performances. So, and with the Tigers, they came out and put the points on the Sharks, and it looks like they can do it against anyone. But they also had an average performance the week before. So
yeah, I think clubs like the Tigers might find that they can get up for 1 or 2 weeks in a row, really, have really strong attitude, mindset, very focused to a game plan, and but then struggle the coming weeks, and then they need to recoup and re-rally and find what they're about. Like for the Tigers, Benji copping a hiding earlier in the season before round 1 or whatever, and not winning the first round. I think he then gets them up. It's sort of like how I said the Titans might get up for this week. So yeah, I think there'll be those clubs, maybe like the Dragons. They cop a hiding. They play better 1 week. You know what I mean? There'll be clubs that'll have 2-week stints.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Rabbitohs, and obviously defensively they were bad last week, but they've let points in every week. So with someone like them, when their attack clicks, they're going to get wins, but defensively, maybe they're a side that you're okay to have a team play against. Like if you got Karaz this week, you're cheering because hopefully he gets another meat pie or something this week. But yeah, I guess that's just my thought process behind that, because obviously every year we're pretty. It gets to like round 11 and we're like, oh shit, the Warriors are actually doing pretty well, aren't they?
The thing also too, like with the amount of injuries, that's thrown a thing into it. Like you might go, oh, the Storm, they're super gritty and all that, but then they've got a few players out. Then the Broncos, they got loads out. So things are a little adjusted as well on the fly.
I think the Storm are a side that we probably shouldn't be targeting against. But the Broncos, Cowboys playing the Broncos this week, I'm very excited. Having heaps of Cowboys, I think the Broncos defensively, they're struggling because they're obviously no Payne Haas. Their go forward is not as potent.
They're probably in a better position this week. Just the fact that they've
Adam
got
Reynolds
that
is
gun,
there.
or that, and the fact that Reece Walsh went off early in the game, and they had to slow things around.
Yeah.
At least they've got Tristan Saylor, who's not as good, but a very, very handy fullback.
Yeah.
And they're not moving other pieces around, so they're probably in a better position for sure.
I kind of like Cobbo at fullback though. He played all right.
Yeah, but he's also doing good in the centres.
Yeah, pretty good. All right, buy, hold, sell. Top buys of the week. I've got Galvin number 1.
Yeah.
Is there a world where...
Can I just say,
Yeah,
he's such a young little dude. Just enjoy just watching him run onto the field or in the change rooms. Like the smile that he has on his face, it's so cute, man. It's adorable. It's such a cute little guy. I love the bloke, and I just wish him well. Got him in my side as soon as it was possible. Keep an eye on him. He's so youthful and young. And I can't believe how good he is in defence and stuff. Just puts his body on the line, contact. He's going to go good.
I actually really like him. He has a break-even of -62, scored 49 in the first week and 72 the week just gone. I mean, he's not getting that many attacking stats. He had a try assist on the weekend in a pretty big Tigers outing, but what's impressing me from him, from an 18-year-old's point of view, the week before he had a try contribution, 20 points in tackles on the weekend and 21 the week before. 2 points in tackle busts on the weekend. I thought there was more. 6 points the week before, but 12 points in offloads on the weekend, 4 points the week before. So he's the kind of guy who's liking running and popping the arm out. 2 line break assists on the weekend, a line break the week before, and he's scoring 15 points in hit-ups. So the fact that he's tackling 20 times a game and 15 points in hit-ups, that's 35 before he has a tackle break or pops the arm out. So someone with, considering how the Eels are decimated, looks like Bryce Cartwright might be out with a broken rib, potentially. I'm playing him.
Yeah, I'm playing him too.
Especially with all the, Pia Kura out as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone who, my arm is going.
Got pins and needles or something?
Oh.
You're right there, mate, just doing a little...
No, I'm not flexing. Yeah, anyway, Galvin, number 1. Appy Coruscant's the second most traded in.
What was the cash cows? I guess he's going to make a bit of money, but...
He's going to make money. He scored 105 on the weekend, 80-odd the week before. Do you like him?
Yep.
Would you buy him?
Considering it, yeah, I'm considering downgrading Harry to him. We say a trade is worth, 100K. It's 130K to go down to him there. Appy's obviously going to go up in money. If you're going to hold on to Harry, he's not losing anything. But what I'm looking at is just the eye test, and I kind of think that Appy can match him and potentially even beat him this year. Potentially. Just the craftiness, watching Harry. I know he's lacking the big forwards. He needs Harry needs the forwards to get the quick play, the balls for him to be able to take those opportunities. He's not getting those opportunities as much. Nelson coming back will probably help that out. But just watching Appy, he's really controlling that side in lots of plays. You know what I mean? Not just close to the line. He's sort of taking a few runs out, inside balls. There's a lot going on. Then there's a goal kick. So I'm watching Harry going, have an offload or something in that tackle. Have an offload or make a tackle bust, or how am I going to get that 4 points? They score a try, get that 4 points. I like Appy.
Isn't it the worst thing when you've got an attacking player and the team scores, and I'm so used to having goal kickers in my side, so I'm like, at least I get the 4 points. The attacking player you're relying on that game doesn't goal kick, and you're like, oh, fuck, you've got to wait till they get down the end of the field again to have an attacking play.
There's something about Appy in that particular side I think it's more the fact that I said less experienced halves. I think without Brooks there, this is completely his side that he does the complete controlling of. Yeah, I think I prefer him. Hey, so I'm the only thing is I'm having FOMO of the idea that I'm going to sell Harry and people are going to pick him up in a couple of weeks. I'm worried that I've taken him for the 60s, couple of 60s, and then he's going to start getting ton. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that I'm more scared of watching Appy go around than I am watching of Harry.
Yeah, 10,000 people have traded him in so far, and I'm heavily considering if I did boost, which I don't think I want to, but I could definitely go Flanagan to Galvin, Cleary to Walker, and then Levi to Coruscant, which just makes my side so much better this week. But I am eyeing off Harry. I'd rather get Harry in, and I'm happy with how Robson's going. I don't need Coruscant. The goal kicking, I didn't think he'd keep the goal kicking for this long and be this good at it. I think he's doing well.
Yeah. I think he's great. I don't think he's if you've got one of those three hookers, I think you're pretty right. But I definitely prefer Appy or Grant. I think there's way more upside in them than Robson, although he had a blindy last week.
Yeah, for sure. The Hammer plays the Titans this week with a 0 break even. I think he's a good buy this week. Flegler, if your front row is decimated, maybe someone you can consider who has scored 75 and 50 in the first 2 weeks. Olakwatu, I think he's someone who hasn't quite hit that ceiling this year yet, but I think it's coming.
Yeah.
I think that big game's coming.
Him and Katoa, I reckon, are the best two second rowers.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be getting Katoa this week if he was playing, I reckon. Zach Lomax, he's kept it up for 3 weeks. I think we can safely say that Zach Lomax is a SuperCoach player.
Oh, yeah.
On the wing. He's a great SuperCoach player. And Valentine Holmes, a bit expensive, but I've got one hold on the list, Morgan Smithies. Just hold him, see what his role's like.
Don't mind it as a sell either. I don't think you're going to miss out on too much more cash jumps. I don't think he's a guy that's going to have a massive game that gets a 70 or 80. He seems like he's capped at about 65 on a big one.
Yep. Horsburgh is named on the extended this week, so I assume he's a late in. I don't know. I don't think I'd be playing.
Ricky has said, though, that Smithies, that's our 13. He's my 13.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to change his mind on that.
And sell Cleary and Flanagan I've got. If you've got Flanagan, I think going to Galvin and banking 170k is great.
Flanagan's not dual, is he?
He's just 5'8".
Yeah.
It's a bit awkward.
It's annoying because he's playing more of a halfback role in that side. He's just wearing the 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be good if you had that dual. Then you could probably just buy Galvin.
Yeah, for sure.
From like that going Nath to Galvin frees up a lot of cash, and that'd be a good trade. Some people might be able to do that.
Yeah, maybe.
There'd be some jewels there, I think.
Yeah, I think definitely if you've got the jewels, it's a good option.
Like Brooks, if you're a Brooks owner, that's probably the one way to go about it.
Moving on to the team list, the big news from team lists. Cleary is out, Schneider is in. Some words that Terrell May was going to miss because of injury, but he's been named to start, which is good.
So what he was one of those ones that sort of came off, sort of holding his leg a little bit towards the end or something.
Nah, but he's all good. My computer is shitting itself, so I've got to get my phone up. I might actually restart that because...
Terrell May, if he does take the field this week, I mean, the amount of people that own him, that's going to ease our stresses and problems. I would be... I could possibly even look if I'm still thinking of holding Lolo this week, so I've got bigger trades I want to make. He's going to lose a little bit more money. He's got a BE of about 64. I'm hoping he can get to at least 40 points this week and not lose too much. But I could play Terrell May and Henry, and then I was going to play Henry as a reserve, but then find another reserve in my side.
Yeah.
And maybe just sit Lolo on the pine. The only reason is that, I mean, I don't want to boost, and I do want to bring in other players rather than a prop this week.
Yep.
Can wait on Willison another week or two.
I like the
Can wait 2 more weeks, can't we? Play 1 week? Oh, no, can wait
No, next week. Next week it'll be a purchase. Which will be a good one. You might only have to spend 20k from Lolo to listen. Liam Henry, 55 off the bench last week. No James Fish-Harris. Play this week?
Yeah. I mean, you're not stoked about it, but I think he's good for 40.
Yeah.
At least.
Not much doing at Rabbitohs versus the Bulldogs, but Viliami Kikau looks back.
Yeah, that's, I guess, a little bit one. I'm a bit sad I just didn't start with for the sentimental reasons, just with the amount of
mid-ranges that have flopped.
And none of them have really turned out. And I was so confident that at that price of 400k, that they'd all be getting to around 60 averages pretty early. I could have started with him, and it wouldn't. I've got to not take it too serious. It's hard to bring him in now. I wish I just had started with him.
Well, it's funny because the first episode we did of Team List Reactions, I asked who were your top 3 purchases. You said Payne Haas, Viliami Kikau. I forget who else you said, but you didn't start with either of them. Yeah. You got one right at least. Broncos versus the Cowboys. Zach Laybutt's back, which is good for owners. Tristan Saylor at fullback. Willison is named on the bench. Corey Jensen, my trade-in option from last week, he's named. And Tyson Smoothie and Corey Oates are named on the bench, which is very good for Jensen. Fuck, I'm so glad I got Jensen. He is a machine. He was on like 16 after 8 minutes, but he only scored 48, which was...
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to write home about. When he turns into AFB, you can start tooting a horn, mate.
I actually put money on him because it was his 100th game last week. I put money on him to be first try scorer.
Yep.
He's paying $101.
Wow.
He didn't score first, though.
He should have only been paying $100 for 100 games.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Manly versus St. George Illawarra Dragons. Not much doing there either, but popular options this week, Ruben Garrick, Tommy Turbo. Tommy Turbo is a big captain option. Chumala Vega is named on the wing once again. Possible cheapie option, but
too much.
Him and Jackson Paulo, I really don't rate as wingers.
Yeah, Vega, I don't. I mean, he's a big boppy sort of dude.
He's like Brad Toto from Wish.
If they had another winger, I think it was last week. I think there was one or two they would have scored. He just lacks that sort of speed, but yeah, he's good out of his own end and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. He's like a Brian Toto that can't finish. Ben Trebojevic named to start at second row.
What an annoying watch from him. I remember I think it was both him and Lane on about 11 points or something at half time, and just really frustrated. Sent the turtle emoji in the chat.
I think the thing that made me quite happy is that he's so highly owned and a lot of people would have played him. But after this week, maybe not. Like, maybe he's not.
How good did he look, though, in the Vegas game? Like, linking up with his brother. It just looked like, this guy's a play each week. He got 70 points. And I was looking at him like, this is a guy you can count on for 50 this year. You know what I mean? It just looked like his work rate was good in that first game as well.
I just don't think it worked for him on the weekend, but do you think he's a play going forward?
Well, I'll try to find a way to not have him in my side the way I was putting reserves around this week. I don't feel super confident.
Do you think against St. George, though?
Yeah, I know they're sort of... I don't know. I kind of pictured St. George as... I just pictured the people that are marking up on him, and I think they're kind of pretty solid. The
Jaden
centres-
Sewer.
Yeah, and the centres that they've got out there as well. I think it'll be Jack Bird on that side.
Yep.
Oh, was that last week we're talking about? Oh, yeah, no, that's this week. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
Jack
yep.
Bird and Lomax.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not heaps confident. I guess he's as good as Tommy allows him to be. If Tommy wants to put him through for a couple of meaties, he will.
Yeah. It's a bit awkward this week, but I think I'm going to be forced to play him.
Yeah, I probably am too now. The fact that I was thinking about not playing Lolo if I can play Henry now that May's there, so that'd probably bring him in as a play for me too.
Hammer is named at fullback, and Max Plath is named at 13. He's a potential 5'8" option, but
With Galvin there, no bloody way.
No way.
Galvin's job security is just way better. Galvin's more exciting. Plath's a plotter. He's a little worker.
I'll tell you what, if I didn't have Dylan Brown, I'd nearly run both of them. Like, if I already had Galvin, I wouldn't waste 2 trades on both of them this week. But if I already had Galvin, I'd consider getting Plath in. I think I like the way he plays. He's got a lot of base stats, and he'll get that dual position in round 6.
What's he getting? Like, is he scoring around 40s, 50s? Or what more sort of mins has he been getting?
What mins?
It's hard to get an idea on the mins, though, in that side, I reckon.
Hold on, let me get it up.
I feel like he changed, like he just gives another different younger blokes a go each week and sort of rotates that around the main core.
I think they're more set on this at the moment. So 278k available at 5'8" only. Break even of -16. He has an average of 48 with scores of 43 and 53. Let me get the mins. 43 and 54 mins. So
it's a good option. I don't think he's a must-have. Like, you don't have to be boosting to get him in, or if you've got one of those guys, Galvin or that, making money in that position, and you're making money, you got other cheapies. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't hate it though.
No, I mean if it's in your, I think it's a good trade. I don't think it's a must-have though.
Yeah, for sure. Hammer.
Yep. Might be one I pass on.
Yep.
Reluctantly. I had him in my trade plans from pretty much round 1.
Yep.
Wanting to boost my centre wingers, and I've done that over the last couple of weeks, and he was the guy I was bringing in this week. But yeah, just as I sort of mentioned on the questions pod, had a closer look at his higher scores against teams that he's played 4 times, and nearly every single one of them, it's not above 80. You know what I mean? Most of them, his higher scores are like 70 or...
His highest score is 120. He hasn't... That's the only time he's turned up.
The only thing is with some of these, like in the past, he's kind of like, he looked a little bit littler, showed potential. Now he looks like he has established, burst onto the scene. He's an origin player. Watching him just sort of stand in the end goal on the telly, I just sort of took note of how much bigger, and like he's got some good size about him. I think eye test, he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just reckon that he should score more than what it looks like he gets. So you kind of get, oh, he only got 70 and felt like a 120, but you'll take those 70s. I think he's good to average more than what his price point's at, for sure. I think he's more than a 60 average this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's closer to like maybe 70, 75. You'll have a few lower ones, a few bigger ones, but I just reckon that ceiling's capped.
Yeah.
Which was proven last week, I guess, with 3 tries, only hit a ton. But I think, he can be getting 2 tries, not every week, but more often than not. And if he's not getting 2 tries, he'll have a try and a try assist, or 2 try assists that week, and a couple extra line breaks. And he's got a lot in his attack. So he's a good trade. I just think I'm looking closer at Dom Young.
Here are 2 players that I think are going massively under the radar this week. 8th most purchased this week with 3,000 people trading him in. 390k, Kai Pearce-Paul. Dylan Lucas has been named on the extended. He scored 67 on the weekend in 80 minutes with Dylan Lucas on the bench. So it looks like they want him there as that guy playing 80 minutes. He looked good. 345k last week. He's made 45k. His break even is 3. I think he should be the 2nd most purchased player this week, in my opinion.
Quite potentially. I think the vibe and my gut feel around this guy is that we might be talking about him, is this guy a keeper?
Yeah.
I think just the little bits we've seen. I know he had 240 scores there. He was just sort of establishing himself. Last week looked a bit better. The size and the range of this guy, we've talked about it a fair bit. Just the opportunity to have hands free, just offload, drop it out the back, have zippy blokes like Kalen Ponga coming off him, scoring tries, try assist. I think he's just got so much attack close to that line. I'm really looking at him this week. If I was to bring him in, it'd mean I'd probably have to pass on Appy. It's a really funky way for me to bring him in. I'd either have to boost or I'd have to sell Hutchison instead of Tuilpiki, and I'm not really loving the idea of selling Hutchison just yet after that nice 64 or 55 or whatever it was that sort of got his ticking over sort of for cash gen. But yeah, there is the opportunity that I let him go this week because I think he's that good, and let him still make go up an extra 40, 50K.
Well, if he goes to 450K, he's the same price as all these other second row mid-ranges, which he's worth.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it might be, rather than just not be like, oh, FOMO, I need him. Maybe, and I'm not great with money, maybe I should be getting him this week if I can pay 50K less, but...
In my opinion, if it's between Drew Hutchison making some money and getting him in, like, I'd rather have him. Yeah, but
I'd also, if I did, I can do it in 2 trades. I can bring him in 2 trades and also bring in the centre winger Dom I want to get. But that'd mean I'm also not getting Appy and not having a hooker this weekend, relying on the fact that I would play the VC loop, which I'm kind of safe with. I feel like Teddy Turbo this weekend, I could loop that. I feel like he's good for 90. I would take 90 this weekend, take a free loop on that. Just because I haven't even got a captain score over 70 yet, to be fair. So I'd probably take... what did Turbo get last week? Yeah, that's the biggest one. Yep. So that. Yeah, I think I could wait a week, but yes, agree. Very, very good. I think he shites all over all the other mid-range guys we've started with. Shites all over him.
Here's another one. Kuli Kefu Fini Fuiaki.
Yep. Price point. Very, very good.
322,000. -2 break even. Had a HIA on the weekend and only played 57 minutes, but it looks like he was set for... Like, that's pretty big minutes.
I don't think he'll play more than that minutes.
I think he's about there, maybe 5 minutes more.
At max. As long as they've got Goz there, his his body shape doesn't, I don't think, lends itself. And he does... he may have played like 80-minute games in lower grades, but first grade's obviously a higher pace.
Yep.
I don't think they can rely on him for that 80 minutes. I think the price is great. I don't feel like he's a must. I think he's a 50-point guy.
He's not, because he's not playing 80 minutes, most likely.
And if he's not scoring tries, his scores will be crap.
Yeah,
and you will rely on playing him, and you will get a few 30s.
He scored a try on the weekend. I was very happy with. So we were at Panthers on the weekend watching the game.
I mean, I was watching the game. You're playing roulette, to be fair.
So, no, well, this is what happened. He went off with a HIA, and I said, fuck this, when I played roulette.
Yeah, no, Savs invites me down. Come watch the game of footy with me, mate. I sit down with a beer, have a sip, and then 2 minutes later, I'm sitting there with his brother while he's at roulette. Come on, bro.
Well, he got put off with a HIA, and I was already having a shit weekend
because
of Teddy.
You're a bit upset. You're trying to find some wins elsewhere.
Yeah, and I did win. I got up to $400 and then played it all the way down to 0, which is exactly what gambling does to you.
A bit like your Teddy.
Yeah, kind of.
Started well and then got rid of it.
Yeah, that's what gambling does. Make sure to know what you're really gambling with. Free and confidential support, you know the number. But I guess if you are going to have a punt, use the Picklebet app. Next in Gen Z betting.
But yeah, he's a great cheapie still.
Yeah, use the code TURBO when... I was doing an ad read for a second. Use the code TURBO when signing up. That lets them know you're coming from us. Helps us out, helps you out, helps everyone out. But visit gamblinghelponline.org.au if you have an issue with gambling. If you don't, just keep punting. Then I probably shouldn't say that, should I?
If you're fine with what you're doing and you don't have an issue, then enjoy yourself.
Yeah, well, that's it. Enjoy yourself responsibly.
That's right.
But Finifeki Fuiaki, I think at the price, like, Much prefer that than Samuel Afinu.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A guy with attacking upside in a good side.
Even though that Samuel Fino got a nice 72.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think in that side, the Cowboys have got a lot of attack.
Yeah,
in them.
for sure. But Kai Pearce-Paul, great purchase. Kalen Ponga, lost a bit of cash.
Yeah, no stress. I'm fine.
Still a big break even. Has the Warriors this week. He's probably someone I want to target soon, to be honest.
I think he's with the guys that have fallen down and stuff. I think it's basically Turbo, Ponga, Drinky, Teddy. Those four seem like the guys, and I don't think it matters which four you've got of those. Two of those four you've got at the moment.
So Newcastle have the Dragons next week. Then they have the Roosters, Bulldogs, Dolphins. They've got New Zealand Warriors this week. So Ponga is someone who, after this week, I think I'll be targeting.
Nice ball as he was sort of falling from dummy half to just rocket it to the winger on the weekend.
I didn't see that. That was the one game I didn't watch on the weekend. So,
it was nice.
So I'm sorry.
That's fine. At
least I'm honest and not trying to pretend
yeah.
I'll watch the game. Nothing worse than when a podcaster, you can tell they haven't watched the game, eh? You just know. All right. Kale Iro.
Yeah, that's good, eh?
Surprising.
Yep.
Playing the Raiders this week, which means Talakai's shifted into the back row to accommodate Nicola out of the side and Royce.
How long's Nicola out for?
I'm pretty sure it's just one more week.
Yeah, okay.
Thoughts?
I hope he gets more than one game, but if I think that the way it looks like, I'd be reluctant to bring him in. And
for sure.
I started with him, not only because I needed someone at that price and I couldn't afford anyone better that was starting. But
I know you started with him, but I guess that was my question. Since you started with him, is he someone that you're considering playing?
I'll play him this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think...
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Just run him out, give him a go. Especially if I'm tossing up whether I'm going to be playing, the likes of Henry or something, I'll give him a go. For sure. The thing is, that's so annoying that he might only get the one game there.
Yeah.
But I'll take it.
Well, maybe they shift Talakai to the bench.
Yeah, I reckon, but he's been playing so well out there, though.
He has.
If he was sort of just...
It's weird timing, isn't it? Like, for them to do it.
Well, I guess it just maybe makes... They didn't have maybe... It was probably the best dynamic for their side.
Yeah, well, Jack Williams started on the edge of that last week. They've got Billy Burns on the bench as well, so... Yeah, interesting to see how they go there. But they're playing the Raiders. Nico Hynes, 53 on the weekend. A lot of people captained him. He was one of the most captained options again. I don't think that's going to happen from now. I think people are kind of realising, oh, shit, the form line is it's not there. How do you see Nico going? Like, if the Cleary injury didn't happen, would you've considered selling?
I would have sold Nico to Cleary.
Yep.
Just temporarily until I saw that it was sorted.
Yep.
However, now that Cleary's out, I'm going to hold on to him. How do I feel about him? I kind of feel like there's a part of Nico that's probably going, he knows he's not having mad games.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what he's capable of, and I'm sure you enjoy yourself more when you're having those big moments. And I'm sure he's a team player, just wants to do whatever is right for the team as well. So if whatever they're currently doing is what they believe is right for the team, him not being involved as much, he'd do that. But they're not looking great. I think he'll get more touches moving forward. Yeah, it's just weird, their attack. It does seem like Trindle's just parked up on that left and getting bit more ball than he probably should be getting.
He's also roaming the field as well, which is concerning. And
Nico ain't, Nico would often find himself on the left a lot, sort of.
I think Daniel Atkinson is named on the bench. He has been playing 5'8" in reserve grade. So is Kate Dyke, so I don't know why they chose Atkinson, but maybe there's a plan if things aren't going well for Trindle to come off.
Yeah, I reckon Nico, I did mention in the chat, I wondered, he seemed a little bit very timid. I mean, especially put 2 balls out on the full. Accidents, mistakes happen. We all have bad, performances in our work or whatever our work is. But I was just wondering with, history of mental health, whether maybe there is a little bit of something that he's dealing with at the moment that making it hard to sort of perform at a high level. But yeah, outside of that, I do think that there's going to be just that bang game where it just goes, like Nico's back.
Yeah, exactly.
And it could be any
He's
week.
got the ability to do it, and the fact that he had a shocker on the weekend, scored 53, I'm willing to take it.
Yeah.
You don't lose money on him if you don't sell him, and he's someone who...
Probably won't play Origin, I don't think, the way he's going.
I don't think so. So he's someone you're going to want to get in for Origin. Solomoni Fatape. Cheapie prospect. Obviously, he doesn't scream out massive must-have, but the option's still there. Plays Parramatta this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't rate it in the centres. I think I'd prefer... I don't mind centres for centre wing in SuperCoach, but they've got to be gun elite sort of players like your Val Holmeses, those sorts of guys. If he was on the wing, it'd probably be better, just more tries, opportunity. Yeah. I reckon there's probably going to be better cheapies with the amount of injuries and stuff that are going on across the field that might present that I don't think you need to go on that one. I know you've got him.
Break even of 0, scores of 21 and 38. He got a line break on the weekend, so it's quite underwhelming. It looks like if he scores a try, he's obviously cash gen will be there. But with all these other options this week, I don't think you need to rush him in. Fanil Paule, though, 58 and 59 minutes with scores of 42 and 59. 420k with front row, second row dual. I like Kai Pearce-Paul better this week, but if you're stuck in the front row...
He's dual too.
Yep.
Yeah, don't mind it. It's just very vanilla-y, but I think a lot of these options at that price are going to be very vanilla-y. You either got to pay up, and there's not many to pay up for.
Yep.
With, like Haas and Tino out, so...
Blaze Talangi is named for the Parramatta Eels at number 6, so we expect Clint Gutherson to be that guy to pick up the slack there and probably more so playing that position, maybe attacking-wise. Talangi plays a fullback.
Very confident debut. He looked very...
Oh, he looks good. I hope he keeps the spot there. Maybe he goes in for Morgan Harper as centre when Moses is back, but it looks like they just want to keep him in the side. They've got a game plan for him. Maybe he's going to be an option for SuperCoach in the coming weeks.
Yeah. He's probably one that I'd much rather prefer than that for Artapa. Is he bottom? He'd have to be bottom $2, wouldn't he?
Blaze Talangi, 204,000 centre wing, scored 67 last week. But from the eye test, I think it was a lot better than scoring a try, getting 67. Like scoring a try and getting 67, you kind of look at that and be like, oh.
Yeah.
But the eye test, I think he'll get a lot of that. So definitely one to watch out for.
And having his hands on the ball a bit more this week.
And if he plays 5'8"
runs
for a couple of weeks, could get the dual, which it's not really going to help, but you could swap in between him and Strange if you've still got both of them in the meantime. Not much else doing. That's it for team lists. Let's move on to what have we got? Oh, we got some bold predictions. A bit of blow up in the chat today because bold predictions. Some people called some people out for not being bold enough, and this is what happens when you just fuck that up.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
Do you want to move that? Stop moving, bro.
When is your foot?
Now I'm probably out of focus.
You look all right to me.
All right. So bold predictions this week. I'll get up Mikey's and Jake soon, but do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Okay. What did Mikey say?
You haven't even
thought
I
have. I was just thinking which ones I wanted to go with. I was thinking Mikey to watch more than 3 games of footy this weekend. Or Mikey to trade in the highest scoring player of this round next week. And every single one of Mikey's bold predictions to be wrong.
Is that legit what you're going with? Okay. I can't find Mikey's just yet, but let me get it up. So what I've got Latrell 100 plus, Cowboys to score 3 tons against the Broncos, so any 3 players, and Hammer under 40.
That's huge. That's a big, bold one.
Oh, I just think no attacking stats. He probably goes under 40.
I'd like to say against the Titans. I'd like that, especially if I'm not going to be bringing him in, which I think I'm leaning towards and not. And I think if I was to have one this week, I think this is the week he does get a big one. So
are they your bold predictions?
Yeah, what did Mikey had him for over a ton, so I've got him for under a ton. I'll get on that.
So you're just going to go like the opposite?
Mikey each week, yeah.
Okay, so Jake's Turbo 130 plus, Titans to win, Dillbags 90 plus.
So my real 3 for the scoring are actually whatever the opposite of Mikey says.
Dillbags 90 plus and Jake to win his OzTag Grand Final tomorrow night. Yes. And then Mikey's, this is where it bloody blew up. Olaquatu to be the highest scoring Manly player, Hammered a ton, Hynes redemption 90 plus. Which I tried to push him above 100, but he tried to push back on that, saying, interesting call there. Captains. I've got 2 options this week. It's Tom Trbojevic versus St. George. He's played 1 game at St. George's home ground and only scored 51. His lowest score against St. George is 50, though, so the floor there is pretty low. He's in good form. He's probably the front runner, but then Latrell versus the Dogs. He always turns up versus the Dogs. I remember captaining...
It's a Sunday game, yeah.
No, it's a Friday 4 p.m. game.
Okay, yep.
I remember captaining him for this coinciding game last year, and he scored 146 with a hat-trick. He scored 136 the outing before that, but I do think the Dogs look a bit better than they have in the past.
Yeah, so do I. I'm been a bit, I guess, conservative just by not necessarily picking the guy I think is going to score the most and just playing the safe one with like Turbo and stuff, but also playing Turbo. It's more about knowing how big he possibly can go, especially on the eye test still, and what he put up before, and then missing that. So I just feel like, I better just take him. I better just take him each week. And I've done that the last couple of weeks. I'll probably do that again.
He's looking good. It's just not quite happening for him. Like, he turns up on the weekend if that obstruction call isn't there.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying. But it's probably fair by the book.
Yeah, it probably is. It just kind of sucks for us super coaches. I was actually at the game, but I left before that because I had my daughter with me. Who's
just doing a classic backdoor save.
Yeah, but we parked at Parramatta Leagues Club on like the 6th floor. It took me 5 minutes to get to the bottom, even though there was no cars in there. So I couldn't imagine how long it was going to take.
First Manly game for the little one?
Yes.
Okay. She enjoyed herself?
She did. She was colouring the whole time.
Well, it's not much better than what I used to do. Just slide on a cardboard box down
Penrith Hill.
Whenever I used to watch footy as a kid, that was what I was there for.
Yeah, well, we're in seats and we're in a pretty good spot, but it was pretty hot. I don't think she had the greatest time, but I still liked it. I took her there.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Not much else to report. Make sure to follow the SC Experience on Instagram. We've built up to, I think, like 4,070 followers on there. So building that up quite nicely this season. Subscribe to the YouTube. We just hit 2,000. Subscribe to the audio platform feeds. And also, if you can rate the podcast 5 stars on Apple, that really helps us. It helps us get up in the rankings and like...
We all know what it's like to want to get up in the rankings. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I think we were ranked at like 32nd for sports, and that's just based on people listening. If we get, a few people rating the show 5 stars, that'll probably push us up into, maybe, hopefully the top 20. So if anyone can do that, just let us know. Send us a message if you have, and we'll bloody...
send you a really good emoji, like a really nice emoji.
Nice emoji, or like, I don't know, we'll try and sort something out for you. All right. Thank you.
Try to sort something out for you.
Give you a hand job.